Troy has just fallen, and you're one of roughly 600 men boarding 12 ships for the trip home. Only one of you is guaranteed to make it back alive, and it isn't going to be you. His name is Odysseus. Yours isn't in the story at all. This is the 10-year journey home from Troy, seen through the eyes of one of his men. Homer wrote this story down almost 2,800 years ago. Of the roughly 600 men who set out, only Odysseus makes it home. That's a survival rate of about 1 in 600 for everyone except the one man whose name you already know. If you want more days like this one, lived hour by hour through history's worst journeys, hit subscribe. And if you're new here, welcome. Troy is burning behind you. After 10 years of siege, the war is finally over. You're one of roughly 600 men boarding 12 ships bound for home. Your commander is a clever, restless man named Odysseus, the one who thought up the wooden horse. The plan is simple: sail south along the coast, then straight across the open sea to Ithaca. You should be home within a few weeks. The ships push off from the beach at dawn, oars cutting through calm water. Behind you, smoke still rises from the ruins of the city you spent a decade fighting for. The men around you are already talking about home, wives, fields, sons they've never met. Odysseus stands at the prow of the lead ship, watching the horizon like he doesn't fully trust it. He's right not to. The gods have not forgotten how this war ended. 12 ships, 600 men. 10 years from now, exactly one of you will still be alive. Your first stop is the land of the Cicones, allies of Troy, an easy target for one last raid. The attack goes well. Too well. The men start drinking captured wine instead of leaving. By the time the Cicones counterattack with reinforcements, you're not ready. 6 men from every ship die on that beach, 72 men gone before you're even a week into the journey. You bury what you can and sail on. A storm catches the fleet 2 days later, driving you off course for the better part of a week, completely at the wind's mercy. On the 10th day, you land on the shore of a strange, quiet island. The people here eat a strange lotus fruit that makes them forget everything, including home. 3 of your crewmates try it. Within an hour, they've forgotten they ever wanted to leave. Odysseus drags them back to the ships by force, tied down until the fruit wears off, and gets everyone moving again before anyone else takes a bite. Days later, you spot a green, mountainous island and put in for fresh water. There's a cave near the shore, stocked with cheese and milk. Someone clearly lives here. Odysseus insists on waiting to meet the owner, hoping for a guest gift. It's the worst decision he'll ever make. A shadow fills the cave entrance. Whatever lies here is not human-sized. The Cyclops Polyphemus rolls a boulder across the cave mouth, sealing you all inside with him. He's a giant, one-eyed son of the sea god, and he doesn't care that you fought a war to get here. By the next morning, 4 of your crewmates are dead, 2 grabbed and eaten that first night, 2 more at dawn. Odysseus comes up with a plan: get the giant drunk, then blind his single eye while he sleeps. That evening, 2 more men die before the plan can even begin. 6 of you, gone in less than 2 days. You help sharpen a wooden stake in the fire while the giant drinks wine you offered him as a gift. When he finally passes out drunk, you and the others drive the burning stake into his eye. His scream brings other Cyclopes to the cave entrance, asking what's wrong. He can only answer, "Nobody is hurting me." In the morning, blind and searching for you by touch, he rolls the boulder aside to let his sheep out to graze. You escape lashed to the bellies of his own sheep, 1 man to 3 animals, slipping past his groping hands. Safely back on the ships, Odysseus can't resist shouting his real name back at the shore, a boast the giant's father, the sea god Poseidon, will not forget. Days later, you reach the floating island of Aeolus, keeper of the winds, who gives Odysseus a leather bag as a parting gift. Inside it, he's trapped every storm wind except the one that will carry you straight home. For 9 days, the wind is perfect. On the 10th, you can actually see the smoke from Ithaca's hearths. While Odysseus sleeps, exhausted from steering the ship himself the entire way, some of the crew start whispering about the bag he's been guarding so carefully. Gold, they assume, treasure he won't share. They cut the bag open. Every storm wind Aeolus ever trapped explodes out at once, and the sea turns violent in seconds. The wind that should have carried you home instead blows you all the way back to Aeolus's island. This time he refuses to help, and with no wind left and no more favors coming, it's back to the oars, the long way around. 6 days of rowing bring you to the land of the Laestrygonians, giants even larger than the Cyclops. 11 of the 12 ships sail straight into the harbor to make camp for the night. Only Odysseus, wary again, keeps his own ship anchored just outside, tied to the rocks. The giants appear on the cliffs above the harbor and start hurling boulders down onto the trapped ships below. There is no fighting back. The ships are crushed, the men in the water speared like fish for the giants' dinner. In minutes, most of the 600 men who left Troy are gone. You row away from the harbor as fast as your arms allow, not looking back. What's left of the fleet is now one ship, and a crew that used to number in the hundreds. You reach a wooded island and split into 2 search parties to scout for food and water. One party finds a stone house deep in the woods, smoke rising from its chimney, and knocks. A beautiful woman named Circe answers, invites them in, and serves them a feast laced with something in the wine. One by one, the men who eat it grow bristles, snouts, and hooves. Circe has turned them into pigs. Only one man, who stayed outside out of suspicion, runs back to warn the ship. Odysseus goes alone to confront her, protected by an herb given to him by the god Hermes, and somehow turns the tables. Circe reverses the spell, and you end up staying on her island for a full year before anyone mentions leaving. Before you can leave for good, Circe tells Odysseus he has to sail to the underworld first to consult a dead prophet. At the edge of the world, you pour offerings into a pit and watch the spirits of the dead gather to drink. The blind prophet Tiresias tells Odysseus exactly how this journey ends, including a warning about an island of forbidden cattle, a warning Odysseus decides not to share with the crew. Back at sea, Circe gives one final warning. Sail past the Sirens without stopping, no matter what you hear. She melts wax and has every man in the crew seal their ears with it, so the Sirens' song can't reach you. Odysseus alone wants to hear it, so he has himself tied to the mast instead, unable to move no matter how hard he begs. You watch your commander scream and strain against the ropes, desperate to follow a song you can't even hear. And once you're safely past, nobody speaks about how close that was. Next comes a narrow strait, with a 6-headed monster on one cliff and a ship-swallowing whirlpool on the other. Odysseus doesn't tell the whole crew what's waiting. He rows down the middle and hopes for the best. As you pass beneath the cliff, 6 long necks shoot down out of the rock and snatch 6 men straight off the deck. It happens too fast to fight. You hear them scream your friends' names as the monster pulls them into the cave above, and you keep rowing, because stopping means losing the whole ship to the whirlpool instead. Days later, starving and exhausted, you reach an island grazed by cattle that belong to the sun god himself. Odysseus, remembering the prophet's warning, makes everyone swear an oath not to touch a single animal there. Bad winds trap you on that island for a full month. Your food runs out completely. While Odysseus is away praying for a way out, the starving crew breaks the oath and kills some of the sacred cattle to eat. Odysseus returns to find the meat already roasting over the fire. There's no undoing it now. For 6 days, you eat the forbidden cattle anyway, because the alternative is starving to death. On the 7th day, the winds finally shift, and you set sail again, half relieved and half afraid. Zeus himself sends the storm this time, and the sky turns black in a way that has nothing to do with normal weather. Lightning splits the mast in half as the sea rises up on every side, and the ship comes apart faster than anyone can bail water or grab an oar. You look for Odysseus in the chaos, but there's no time left to look for anyone. When the storm finally clears, there is no ship left. Only broken planks scattered across open water. Odysseus survives by lashing 2 pieces of wreckage together and drifting for days with no food, no water, no crew. Every single one of the roughly 600 men who sailed from Troy with him is now dead. He is the only one left. He'll spend 7 more years stranded on a goddess's island before the gods finally allow him to leave for home. When he finally reaches Ithaca, 10 years after the war ended, he arrives completely alone, unrecognized even by his own wife at first. Homer wrote this story down almost 2,800 years ago. Of the roughly 600 men who left Troy on those 12 ships, exactly one made it home. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. Subscribe. There's another journey like this one coming.